In this video, we're going to talk about other materials in VRAY for SketchUp. So how we can obtain different effects using these additional parameters and additional attributes. And also we will concentrate on the part concerning the translucency and the opacity. So in this render here, you can see a couple of examples, and this one here is a translucent material, or let's call it subsurface scattering. And I will try to explain that later on. And also we have a car paint material here, a Toon material, and in the background we have this alpha channel effect or opacity effect. And I'm going to use this model from Polyhaven, which is a drill model that we already used previously. You can find it here in the website, so you can download it and import it. And this is the PNG right here, so you can find it, there you go, in Wikimedia, and you can download it. Okay, so let's start talking about these additional materials. First of all, I'm gonna open up the asset editor and let's go to the material tab. And let's start with the translucent material, which is also called SSS, so 3S, or Subsurface Scattering Effect. Now, if you look for in Google, you will find many examples. You can see how the human skin behaves, or for example, plastic or wax like candles or tents or many other materials. So what is the meaning of subsurface scattering? We talked about the lightning and how the light hits a particular surface of an object. Now, if that light hits the surface and then it's gonna bounce back in a concentrated beam, you will have a specular effect or a reflection effect. When that light is gonna scatter all over the surface, then you have the diffuse effect or the roughness effect. Now, when you have a transparent material, a totally transparent material, the light is gonna go all the way through and exit the other way. Now, translucency is something in between. So when you have translucent material, the light is gonna hit the surface a little bit and get scattered on the surface. But then some part of that light is gonna get through and it's gonna go beyond the surface of the object. It's gonna get inside the object and under the surface, so subsurface, is gonna scatter and it's gonna create this kind of lightning effects and something that it's a little bit transparent, but not totally transparent. So when you talk about translucency, you can get that also with the refraction and the fog a little bit, and we talked already about that, but then you have a particular material just for these cases. So let me zoom in here, and if you go here in the VRAY asset editor, go to the create new, go to materials, and you can see you have other types of materials here. We talked about emissive. You have like two-sided, so two materials for front and the back, and then we have here the subsurface scattering. So all you need to do here is to create this one, and it's gonna show up in the list. You can see here I have created a couple of subsurface scattering materials, and then I'm going to select the surfaces here or my drill and apply it. Well, you can use any other mesh. This is just an example. So I will just go right click and apply to selection, and I'm going to render this out a little bit closer. So you can see that this looks like something that is not completely transparent, not completely opaque, but something in between. And I can see the light a little bit scattering around under the surface. So this is set like a skin material, but you can also then modify this and change, for example, the subsurface color. You can change the scatter light color and also the radius. You can make many different variations here. Okay, just play around with that and you can get anything you like. So let's apply this second one. And so we created this like plastic effect. Now let's move to the next one, which is a car paint. And again, you will find it by going into materials. So you can see here we have car paint, and we also have other materials like air, which is useful if you need to create some material for character hair. And you have multi-material, which is gonna apply many different materials to one object, also two-sided for one side, back and front. And so we have different purposes here for these materials. They're gonna look like the standard material, but they're gonna have something different. So let's go here for the car paint. So again, if I don't find the material, I can click on the interaction tool, click on that object and find the material. Okay, so this is the car paint, which usually it's blue. So when you create a new car paint material, it's gonna show up in blue. But again, you can customize here the color, the reflections, the glossiness. So it's similar to the reflection effect that you have in the standard material, but it's gonna be just a little bit different because here you have the flakes, which are these little things inside the paint. You can see them here really big, and you can change, of course, the scale of these flakes. You can make it bigger and smaller, choose a custom color, and so on. And now let's go to the third one of this example, which is a Toon material. So let me just create a new one with you, and this is called Toon Override. Okay, so usually it's gonna place a Toon effect on a base material that I have to choose. So I'm going to apply this just to show you what the basic result is. Okay, so let's do apply to selection and let's render this. Okay, so you can see that this is like totally invisible except the border lines or the edges. So let's stop this. So we need to insert a material inside, and you can use any material that you already have in your library here. So you can get someone also from the libraries, or you can just pick one. Let's select the blue and let's render. So right now you can see that we have